What's up guys, hope you've been having fun in Penacony because I especially have been having a blast. Just wanted to go over the most recent addition to the roster being BlackSwan, why you should pull for her if you've been thinking about it, and how BlackSwan kinda transcends through the restrictions of team comps in this game. Before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel for more Honkai content from yours truly, would extremely appreciate it, and drop a like. Okay, firstly, BlackSwan. It's been a bit now since she has dropped in game and I was very fortunate enough to win the 50-50 for her. Right off the bat, she is an amazing addition to the dot team and brings various things with her to the table. Breaking BlackSwan down as a unit. Her place in the game is in dot compositions. Now her best partner without a shadow of a doubt is going to be Kafka. Kafka is essentially the backbone to dot compositions since she can just detonate dots, meaning she can detonate the stacks of Arcana BlackSwan inflicts on enemies. So a portion of damage is dealt to the enemies from those Arcana stacks. Of course, Kafka applies her own dots to increase the amount of stacks of Arcana, and if you do have Kafka's signature, Erode will be considered as another dot applied on enemies to increase Arcana stacks even faster. Now, as great as Kafka is with BlackSwan, she is not essential for her. You have other options such as Guinaifen and Sampo that can somewhat replace Kafka. They won't be as good as Kafka, but they can definitely fit the role. A highly invested Sampo can provide some very solid damage himself, but you would like to have him at E4 at least, since then he can unlock the ability to detonate wind shear on enemies. Arcana is considered as wind shear, so Sampo can detonate Arcana stacks, dealing a portion of Arcana damage to enemies. Guinaifen, being the other option, is also great for BlackSwan since her kit provides a damage taken increase on enemies, which would allow BlackSwan's Arcana to deal more damage, and of course she can inflict dot herself, helping BlackSwan with those stacks of Arcana. So as you can see, BlackSwan is quite flexible, similar to Kafka. They don't mind who's on their team, just as long as they are dot characters, everything is great. BlackSwan provides amazing damage through her dot Arcana, and the complexity behind her is such a pleasure, as it goes to show the amount of time the devs are really putting into these characters. The ability to defense shred through her skill, and depending on how many stacks of Arcana has been inflicted onto the enemy, is such a blessing for the team, as she just amps the damage of her allies so easily. BlackSwan is such a special character, as she can be somewhat considered as a harmony unit from all the defense shred she deals and the increased damage taken on enemies for the team. Now just going over BlackSwan's kit briefly. Her basic attack is the best basic attack in the game for sure, due to the fact that she can inflict up to 5 stacks of Arcana on an enemy. Aside from this being the first basic attack actually having some utility, it allows BlackSwan to be skill point efficient, as there will be turns where you would actually prefer to use the basic attack over the skill regardless if you have the skill points. Her skill is a blast attack that has a 100% chance of inflicting a stack of Arcana and reducing the defense of enemies by 20.8%, which lasts for 3 turns. This skill is really no joke. Defense low for 3 turns is such a boost for your team, and the fact that it lasts for that long allows again for there to be some skill point efficiency. The ultimate inflicts Epiphany that lasts for 2 turns and makes the enemies take 25% more damage, which just means your team would be cleaving through enemies easily. Also, Arcana stacks would be regarded as wind shear, bleed, burn, and shock, which just makes the conditions for BlackSwan's Arcana stacks be met more easily. The main aspect of the kit being the talent just states that every time an enemy receives dot at the start of their turn, there is a 65% chance to inflict Arcana. Arcana stacks can stack up to 50 times, each providing a damage multiplier for BlackSwan's dot of 12%. When there are 3 stacks or more of Arcana, BlackSwan deals wind dot to an enemy and adjacent enemies with a 65% chance to inflict a stack of Arcana. When there are 7 stacks, it will allow BlackSwan's dot to ignore 20% defense on the enemy and adjacent enemies. Finally, the technique has a 150% chance to inflict a stack of Arcana upon entering battle, and after every successful infliction of Arcana, that 150% base chance is cut in half repeatedly after every time you proc that chance to inflict Arcana. So that's the kit, perfect in my eyes as it provides good damage, enables the team to deal more damage, and she doesn't need to use that many skill points to utilize the full effects of her kit. Now the important question, should you pull for BlackSwan? It would be a no-brainer depending on your account. Now this ties in with team building in general in HonkaiStarRail. If you're a player that has invested into a dot team, possibly consisting of either Kafka, Guinaifen, Sampo, you've pulled around May also, and may possibly have Huohuo, you should have pulled day 1 for BlackSwan, because I believe now she is just as important as Kafka for dot compositions. The synergy between these characters is just unbelievably good, and so you can see yourself using BlackSwan for a while in this game. The difference between games such as Honkai and Genshin, team building is so much more important than Honkai, as it involves a lot more complexity. You really need to understand what the character does and if they're able to help the allies on the team, or will they be more of a hindrance. In Genshin, team building is so much more relaxed, and where there are many combinations of characters you can have together and they will work well to clear the game. Of course, there are some specific comps that can allow for better efficiency, but they aren't needed and you can get away with pretty much any team comp. There is a beauty behind team building in each game. HonkaiStarRail allows you to rack your brain a bit, and if you invest into the right characters and formulate the correct teams, you can clear much more efficiently than other players. Genshin allows you the privilege to play with a team consisting of characters you pretty much enjoy playing with. Team building in Honkai takes a bit more care since Jades are limited to free to play, so unfortunately you won't be able to summon for everything and build loads of teams consisting of different characters. It goes without saying, this is directed more towards free to play. If you're a whale, you can summon for pretty much anything you want and build as many teams as you like. So it just boils down to what characters you have, the characters you plan to pull, and the will to resist pulling for unnecessary characters that will not fit into your current teams. So again, pulling for BlackSwan, if you are planning to build a dot team where she will shine the most, I would definitely advocate to pick her up. However, there is a handful of characters in the game that are just so flexible that can be pretty much used anywhere, and amongst those characters is BlackSwan. As I went through her kit earlier, I mentioned the fact that her skill has a 100% chance to reduce defense by 20% for 3 turns, and her ultimate makes enemies take 25% more damage for 2 turns. BlackSwan's skill and ultimate allows it to walk pretty much into any team. It may not be the most efficient and best way to use BlackSwan, as you are kind of locking a good chunk of her kit away, but she will still work very well. If you're trying to hypercarry with Jingliu, Imbibe to Lune, or Dr. Ratio, I can see BlackSwan being a really great asset to them, as she'll just be able to enhance their damage. That being said then, BlackSwan gives you a reason to pull for her even if you don't have any dot characters built, as you will still be able to make some use out of her. Again, the best way to fully utilize BlackSwan will definitely be on the dot team, but because of her kit, she can still find some use outside of dot compositions. In a more standard scenario where a character is built to be used in a certain way and that way only, if you don't have the right team built for them, it would just be a waste of Jades, and in this game where devs are pumping endgame content out, you don't want to be wasting Jades. An example being Topaz. If you aren't going to be running her with follow-up attack characters, the team you stick her on won't be running as efficiently as one with follow-up attack characters. Another is Kafka. If you don't have any dot characters with Kafka, it will definitely be difficult to make use out of her, as she doesn't provide support capabilities like BlackSwan does. So the point is, BlackSwan is just one of those characters, similar to Pella, where you can find use in nearly any team. So if you have been stuck thinking about wanting to pull for BlackSwan but have no intentions of building a dot team because you don't want to or can't afford to, you can still definitely pull for her, as she's just that good. Well, that wraps it up. If you are still trying to pull for BlackSwan, best of luck, and if you have pulled her, welcome to the club. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot, and drop a like. Also, drop a comment on whether you pull for BlackSwan, and if so, what team are you running her on? And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.